Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Green World is Possible. It's an online candidate forum. I'm very happy to announce that we have some great candidates here to introduce you to. I'm just going to go around and just get everyone announce themselves, give themselves a 1 to 2 minute opening statement. Then we're going to go into a round of questions and answers, and we'll see how time works out. Maybe we'll get several questions so we find out about all these great candidates and why they're running, what inspired them to be Greens and run for office as a Green, and what they hope to do when they get elected.
Hello, everyone. I am Mr. Toya Woodland. Toya Woodland. I am running in the 5th Congressional District in Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I am running on a reparatory platform. The reason that I too, like Brandy, was a Democrat all of my life. Like of course, like many other American descendants of slavery, we grew up as Democrats, and because that's from generation to generation to generation, and I think stemming from FDR, a lot of our grandparents were Democrats. So when I got 18, when I became 18, it was like Christmas the day before. It's like my grandmother took me to the polls and she said, just vote down ballot Democrat. Just whatever you see a Democrat, you just vote right there. And I remember being really, really excited. And the first person I voted for was Clinton. I was 19, and just became voting age, and Clinton was a president, and he ate McDonald's, and as a teenager he ate McDonald's and he smoked marijuana, and I thought that he was the coolest guy ever, right? So as I began to study more and as I began to learn more, and I learned about how he passed laws that took away social service programs, especially after I had my first child. I was in 1992. I had my first son. I learned that he removes social service programs. I learned that he signed one of the largest CPS bills um, into law ever, allowing $4,000 for any social worker who removed a child from the home of their parent. So, and that sparked it sparked a mass child removal here in the United States of America, um, mainly targeted towards American descendants of slavery. Um, it was disproportionately targeted to remove our children from our home. I never had that issue, but I learned. I had a lot of friends who went through those and their relatives that went through that. And then Biden, who was his friend, that he offered the 1994 crime bill, which kicked off mass incarceration on a whole other level, right? And to this day, there are still people in jail. There are still men and women in jail reaming from the effects of the 1994 crime bill. Um, there was a young man that I was in communication with. He was in jail for having an ounce of marijuana, and he's been there 15 years, recently released. So, and now it's legal. But yeah, so I started getting started when I became more involved in the political process. I started to study more, and I became an activist because I have two male children, two male children, and so things are a little harder. It's harder as a single mother to raise um, young ADOS boys. So as they were when they were children, they were growing up, and I say ADOS is American descendants of slavery. It's hard to raise two ADOS boys in this system, so I had to become their advocate and their champion in school, in after school activities, strategically finding them places, knowing where to live with those young men, and I just got more and more engulfed into advocacy, activism, community organizing, fighting for children, fighting against mass incarceration, fighting against mass suspension, just overall fighting. Um, I believe the reason that I'm with the Green Party is for two reasons. I left the Democratic Party in the Obama era, after Obama, because of Obama, um, the ADOS community lost 50% of their wealth. So because of Obama, we lost 50% of our wealth, and we were already struggling. It was like he bailed out big banks, but he didn't bail out the community that was struggling the most. And if we had had reparations in place, then we would have been able to manage those mortgage payments. We would have, those would not have been an issue. So when I left during the Obama era, I didn't have anywhere to go. I was just a person who was going to vote. And when I literally got to the poll in 2016, was it 2016, 2018, whenever Trump was, and I flipped a coin, and whoever won the coin toss was who I was going to vote for, because I didn't think that Hillary was any better than Trump, and Trump was any better than Hillary. Hillary won. She lost though. She won the coin toss, but she lost the election, which made no difference to me. I think they're equally as bad. So bringing up to today, I am running on reparations for American descendants of slavery. I am running on CPS. I'm fighting against CPS, mass incarceration, working to change the language in the 13th Amendment, universal basic income, universal health care for all, solar energy, and primarily just putting Minnesota first because no one's done that for our state in a long time.
And I wanted to know if you could share experiences on your current campaign, because now we're campaigning during a time of COVID. You can't. It's not as easy to go out and get out the vote and shake hands with people and all that kind of stuff and raise money the way you used to. Just want to find out how you're dealing with the current struggles with campaigning during this time. Also, along with COVID, we also have the other plague of people trying to get Donald Trump out of the office. No matter what office you're running for, they're gonna find a way that but you're gonna if you're running for like dog catcher, they're like, but if we vote for you for dog catcher, Trump's gonna win. So it's just so ridiculous. People are so brainwashed right now. So just wanted to know if you could share some of your stories from the campaign trail, because you were a Democrat before, like you said. Now you're running as a Green. Have you been facing all the slings and arrows and all the cliches?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Let me say, first of all,
There you go.
I was the only independent third-party candidate to go out into the pandemic. So we physically had to go into the pandemic and get signatures, and I was the only third-party candidate in my district that got acquired all the signatures required, right? So I received 1,400 signatures. I'm excited. I only needed 1,000. I'm excited. I go to this is my first time ever running. So I go to the Secretary of State. I take pictures under the seal, and I'm just really proud of me. Like I had a team of 3, and we went out into the pandemic, and we got 1,400 signatures, and I was excited, only to receive a letter from the Secretary of State saying that only 866 of my signatures qualified. I challenged it, of course. They recounted, and when when they counted it again, it was only 850. They took 15, 16 signatures off, right? So, and I know. And I know that my governor could have made some sort of allowances for third parties. I tried to reach out to him, but it wasn't. I can't see any of you guys. I'm putting my glasses back on. I'm sorry. So I called the governor. I was in tears. I was hurting. I was just, because I was so excited about what I had accomplished, everyone. And it just broke my heart, but I didn't quit. I took a few days off, like 3 days. I took 3 days off, and I said, I got to regroup. What am I going to do? And so now I'm running as write-in, which has been challenging. My campaign released that had I been on the ballot, I would have beaten the incumbent, which is Ilhan Omar, because she has not been paying attention to my state. My district is the 4th worst state in America for minorities and people of color to live. In America, we're not even just talking about Minnesota, we're just talking about all of America, right? So it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge. I have been out there in the COVID, and I have an underlying illness. I have an autoimmune deficiency. So if I catch COVID, it's going to be really, really bad. But because I was so determined, and I believe that this is what God has called me to do, and I just did not stop. I just kept going. I've been out, and then George Floyd happened here. Oh my God, the murder of George Floyd, accompanied with the pandemic, and having to get signatures, doing all of that. It was very challenging here in Minnesota to get signatures. But I have had a little bit of media. WCCO did a write up on me, and they did like the 2 minute commercial thing that I think Tom was just saying. And I'm in Ballotpedia, Ballotopia, about one of those.
Mhm.
And so people are able to see who I am. I do a lot of live streams. I do a lot of things online. I've been a community activist here for a long time. So from Jamar Clark to fighting for against mass incarceration. We reduced drug sentencing here in Minnesota. I was on that. I did that campaign with other people, um, fighting for children with IEP, special needs in school because they're disproportionately suspended, or at least they were. Fighting to get internet access for all children for free. And I believe the school district should perform, to provide laptops. So it's just a lot of stuff that I have been doing, and I'm still working as an activist. I haven't stopped my activism. I'm still fighting. I'm the chair of the CPS committee in the Green Party. I am one of the co-chairs of the Black Caucus in Minnesota. So I'm still fighting and doing my activism all while I'm running this campaign, along with being a mother, a minister and a friend to a lot of people. So my children, and even though my children are grown and they don't live with me, I still have to be their mother, right? I still have to make sure that they're okay. And so it's been quite a challenge, but it has been so fulfilling. I've never experienced anything like this ever in my life. This whole political process is wonderful. I'm going to do it again. I don't think that I might win this time because I didn't get on the ballot, but they said if you don't succeed, try, and try again. I get the same pushback about Trump. I'm not running for president. And as a American descendant of slavery, I don't know why we so scared if he's staying. It's been a hard road for the last 401 years. All of a sudden, we scared of Trump. We've been through a lot around here, so I don't understand that. Like I get a lot of pushback from Black people when we just gotta get Trump out. Well, why? With so many things that happened to us. Do you remember slavery and Jim Crow and segregation and Deborah? Do you remember redlining? Do you remember the man just they put his knee on his neck and he died? Do you remember all of that? So Trump is not the worst thing that's ever happened to Black people. I mean, we need to be focusing on making a better tomorrow for our children, not being brainwashed to be scared of a man who is just a man. So that's just my theory on Trump. I think the Democrats have gotten a hold of people and they just scared the heck out of them. But yeah, this whole process has been really fulfilling. I enjoyed it. I'm enjoying it, and I'm going to continue on. I'm going to take a break for about a month, and then I'm going to go right back. I'm going to build better, organize better, and because I know a little something now.
Great, thank you for that. My apologies to everybody because I know I ran late, but you all have so much great stuff to share about your campaigns because I've seen like this, for me, this feels like the most aggressive attack of Greens. It's like every 4 years, not each election cycle so much, but every 4 years, that's when everyone seems to jump on. And 2000, we saw it with all your spoilers, 2004, and then 2008, and then 16, or Russian bots, and 2020, it's like we're funded by Republicans and everything you could think of. And I think it's really important to hear your struggles and to share that with everybody. And what I want to do is sort of start winding down to a closing. So have you all sort of give a closing statement, but also talk about anything that you wanted to share that we didn't have a chance to go through during the question and answers.
First of all, I have to say that I am taking donations. I need all of the donations that I can get.
All the donations.
And all of them. My opponents have multi-millions of dollars. They've been backed. lead by the Democratic and Republican Party and other entities. As you know, we don't take PAC money, and so they're doing everything grassroots. So every dime that I get, I spend towards my campaign. And so I need, would like to run an run some ads on YouTube. I would like to be able to maybe get a commercial. They don't have commercials. They're not running commercials. I would like maybe a 2-minute spot in the middle of the night when people, when people are up and, should probably be asleep. So I would love, go to Woodland for Fifth District .org, www.woodlandforfifthdistrict.org, or you can go to Woodland for Congress on my Facebook page, and there my PayPal link is sitting there, and you can donate. You can donate to Woodland for Congress PayPal, or you can just go to my website and donate. But I need all of the donations I can get. And I am running for the people. I know how it feels to live from paycheck to paycheck. I know how it feels to wake up one morning and be disabled. So I'm fighting for people with disabilities. I know what it feels to be homeless. So I know how to fighting for people who are homeless. I know how it is to be an everyday person because I'm an everyday person. So I'm fighting for those people who didn't have health care in the pandemic. Had we had a, universal healthcare for all in a pandemic, I think that we wouldn't have lost as many lives as we did here in Minnesota. Had we had universal basic income, people would have been able to pay their rent and or their mortgage here in Minnesota. Had we had someone fighting for us in Minnesota, I believe things would have been totally different. Uh, I um, I'm voting for Howie. I endorse his campaign. He has endorsed mine. I'm endorsed campaign by Howie Hawkins. And so I'm not worried about Trump or Biden. And I'm voting for Howie because he believes in community control over the police. Not because he's just a green, because I'm not going to vote for anybody just because of what they are. But he believes in community control over the police. I'm fighting for community control over the police. We believe in health care for all. I believe in health care for all, right? And he believes in reparation. He's coming with a Black agenda, streamlined for American descendants of slavery, which includes reparations. So no tangible, no vote. I feel that if you're not gonna, I'm not just gonna give my vote away. And being a Christian woman, I was always raised, to be, abstinent until I was married, or abstinent. So I wasn't just going to give myself away without the ring. So I'm not going to give my I believe my vote is just as precious, and I'm not going to give my vote away without tangible. So that's why I would not vote for Donald or Biden, because they have not come with a Black agenda that's appropriate or that works for Black Americans, that shortens the wealth gap. If you want to lessen crime, shorten wealth gap. You want to, because when people can feed their families and they can provide generational wealth, and they can be happy, they're not committing crimes. People are not committing crimes when they're able to take care of themselves. Blacks in America only account for 2% of the wealth. Whites in America account for 90% of the wealth. And the other 8% goes somewhere else, but we only have 2% of the wealth. So that's a big gap. And that's including Oprah and Michael Jordan and Beyonce and Jay-Z. We only account for 2% of America's wealth, and that wealth gap has to be shortened. Reparations has to be a part of I believe, because it's a part of the platform for the Green Party. I believe that all Green Party members should adopt that platform, because reparations is very important for Black America to survive. The median Black income in Minneapolis, is for Black family is $17,000. The median income for white Minnesotans is $60,000. We lack in home ownership, business ownership. We lack. Our communities have been redlined. They have been cut through. So there you can't go into a black community and have see a store that's owned by, like you can go into any other minority community and they own their own stores. We don't even own our own businesses anymore. So if we want to cut crime in urban cities, provide shorten the wealth gap, provide a way that people are fundamentally healthy mentally, emotionally, financially, and spiritually. Because when those four aspects are not taken care of, and and people are not well in those four aspects, crime increases because it's a fear factor. What's going to happen next? I think that this America, it when our forefathers made it, wasn't include, didn't include us. But now this land is my land, and this land is your land, and let's make this land a home for everybody to say this is our land. Let's be one United States. So if we're going to be one United States, we have to treat all Americans, not just a few, all Americans like we matter. And all Americans will matter when we say that Black Lives Matter, and we can bring short that wealth gap and make create generational wealth for those people who don't have it right now. And so I'm fighting for that, for the underdog, and I'm fighting for health care for all. Everybody has to have health care, regardless. And and no matter who you are, lottie dottie, everybody needs health care. So that's how I feel. And donate. Go to my website, go to my Facebook page, Woodland for Congress, www.woodlandfor5thdistrict.org, and donate. I could win this if more people in Minnesota know me. So, and the way to get them to know me is to do advertising. So thank you. And this is the last few weeks, and they'll remember me, right? So I'm a write-in. Oh yes, I'm a write-in candidate. So write in Toya Woodland, and in the 5th Congressional District. It's going to say Lacey Johnson, another guy, Ilhan Omar, and at the very bottom it'll say write in Toya Woodland. Toya Woodland, 5th Congressional District. Toya Woodland. Write me in. So write Toya in so we can win. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for your time, and I really, really want to see you all get elected and in office. And like you said, it's so important to have the Green Party running for office and getting elected to help push those policies to move everything in the direction it should be, because the Democrats aren't doing it. They haven't been doing it for the last 20 years, and their only campaign platform is "we're not the Republicans," and it's just not acceptable now with the way the world is going. So thank you once again, and I hope to talk to you in person one day.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Thank you. I had a good time, and I enjoyed listening to you all, and I thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And if we can all get to the House and get to the Senate and get to our respective office, can you imagine the change that we could make in Washington with us, the people who are in here, and Lisa Savage going to, oh my God, like I think that things could happen. Like we could do some real good in Washington as Greens. So I'm going to be, as a minister, I'm going to be praying for you and myself. And I'm just, thank you so much. It was nice meeting you all.
Good luck to everyone.
Yes. Great meeting you all and hearing from you.
Thank you much.
Okay. See you, everyone.